What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the Killer Clowns from Outer Space game yet again. We talked about this right at the top of the year, right when 2023 kind of struck, and, well, we've gotten absolutely nothing for the first more than half of the year at this point, now being in July. So, to really quickly recap why I think this is something at least worth talking about, or just to kind of circle the wagon yet again, we saw this game last year at Gamescom. Now, the funny thing is, that's kind of where I think it's going to be again, to be honest with you. They could certainly do their own thing. Their Twitter, the person running their community thing, I do think is a very clever, funny individual, but not very talkative. Specifically, over the last like 3 or 4 months, they haven't tweeted anything since mid to early March was the last time they tweeted literally at all. And their message has kind of been, they're pretty silent on social media. All hands are on deck. And when they do the next thing, they want to make it really big. They're not going to do something just to kind of do it. When they do something, it's going to actually be something that you want to see. So, well, here we are in July. Now, when could we see it next? I do think Gamescom a year later. I want to throw out just a little bit of disappointment in terms of, though, the communication, because, you see it at Gamescom, and one very specific thing is at the end of the trailer, they say, sign up for the beta, right? The closed beta. Did that a year ago, and we still have heard absolutely nothing about it. And also that the game was supposed to release, and it literally, and actually on their website, it still says this, the game is planned for release in early 2023. So I have a feeling that was not reached. Factually, it's not early 2023 anymore. So I understand them being silent on social media, but I do think you should update the website. And no, again, to throw in a little bit of disappointment, I feel like you should communicate that. Just maybe re-say something like, hey, we are still going to do a beta. Hey, obviously the game is delayed, and that's obvious, but you could still say it. You could also change your website so when you go on the website, it doesn't say early 2023 on it. Just something like that. But I do remain optimistic for this game. This game has always looked really cool to me ever since we first saw it. And I do think that the next time we see it, what they're maybe hinting at is we see it and they say, okay, here's the dates. Here's the beta dates right here. And I'm not expecting the beta to drop that day. You got to, I think, give people some time. I think other people have done it, or other games have done it actually really, really well. Texas Chainsaw would actually be one that I would almost try to copy. The technical test, the closed technical test being several days long, they actually extended it a day. I think they should do, honestly, relatively the exact same thing. Texas Chainsaw, also the tech test was only on PC. If Killer Clowns, if they can do it kind of across the board, I think that would be really helpful. So hopefully we see it in Gamescom, which, by the way, Gamescom is the end of August. I think August 23rd to the 27th. Jeff does his opening night live. I think that's what they call it, where it's a live stream. That's where Killer Clowns was last time. So I think that's where it'll be, late August. Maybe you get a beta date for September or October. This is one of those games. I mentioned this game, Transformers Reactivate. I talked about that heading into Summer Game Fest, where both of these games, were shown. In this case, this game's supposed to release this year, plus the beta. Now, I really think that's in huge jeopardy at this point. Transformers, I don't think they ever actually gave a date, so for that, it's like, okay, just do a beta. But yeah, for Killer Clowns, I don't know, you do a beta September, October, maybe the game comes out in December. It is possible you can squeeze it into 2023 and still, I guess, but it's not early 2023 anymore at that point, though, right? But more realistically, the game's been pushed, which again, in the current day, every game kind of gets delayed. It's just the way it is. I think it's annoying. I don't think it's necessarily great, but I have always said you have to give the game the time it needs, not just for this game, really any game. And specifically, I'm sure this is pretty important for a lot of games, but for a multiplayer game, game's got to come out. It's got to have content. You can't have a bare bones multiplayer thing and say, well, we're going to add stuff in on month 2 and month 3 and month 4. Well, what about month 1? What about week 1 when people are playing it, right? If the game just doesn't work, right, server-wise, crashing, all this kind of stuff, you can kill a game. Multiplayer games, I feel like you can kill them in a bad way within the first couple days if you don't do it right. So you really got to make sure you land that opening of the game. So hopefully, obviously, that's what they're working towards. So let me know what you guys think as soon as we hear news of this game, whether it's at Gamescom or somewhere else. I will, of course, be covering it, playing it. Hopefully, I did sign up for the closed beta a year ago, so hopefully it's still in there. It's still in their system that we all signed up when we did. Thank you all for watching. I hope to see you all on the next one.